Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Stanaland, and I am CEO of Shark Branding Solutions. I want to thank you for being here today for this workshop. A couple days ago, I did another workshop, which was all about how customers can find your business. Well, today we're going to be talking about the next step of that, and that is how customers are going to be able to choose your business over your competitors. And how we know about this is we opened our agency about 9 years ago. And with that, the landscape was really completely different than how it was now. When we started, we were known to make businesses famous. And how we did that was we did it through creating a blueprint on how to get our customers in front of 20 million people in 30 days. It was really great. It worked really well. We did that because we needed to get attention, right? It was definitely in the times where, search engine ranking, it's obviously a really big deal. Trying to make sure that a company is able to be some of the first ones listed on Google in order for people to find their business. That's what we were able to do. We were able to do that through a lot of press releases. We had contacts with journalists. We were able to get our clients featured in different publications, as well as on TV, on radio, and that really helped getting the attention of new customers. And that's what we're known for. And this worked really well for the past few years. However, over the past couple of years, we have seen things change. We have seen that the way that customers buy are changing, and it's changing rapidly. And the basis of that change happens to be with how customers are shopping and how they're making their decisions based on the information that they're finding online. And all of this can really be tied to the rollout of AI platforms and the public access to AI platforms and how fast that AI is evolving and just how it impacts exactly how people are using it and how many people can access it. So as we've been learning this, we've also seen an impact not just in our clients' business, but also in our business alone too. So we have not only had to make sure that we are able to get our customers found, and we've had to do it in ways that are different than what our original business model was. And then we've also had to do that for our company. So this is not something that anybody that's on this call, if you're an owner of a business, if you're struggling with people to find you, know about your business and get them to choose you, we are in that same boat. We are in this together. So that is why I'm here today to share this information with you, let you know what our team is seeing, what our team is navigating, and what we're doing to future-proof our company and as well as for our clients. And then share that information with you. So regardless if you are our client or not, you're able to take this information and apply it to your business, because the information that we share today is not impacting you in the next 6 months, 12 months, 36 months. It is impacting you right now, whether you know it or not. And it is going to rapidly go and impact your business over the next 36 months. So I want to show you what I'm talking about. Now, as I said, things have changed and we are no longer competing for traffic. We're no longer competing for attention. We are now competing for a decision, and that decision is for that buyer to choose your company at this moment of decision. And when I was talking about going and making sure that being found on Google, if we can look here over the visibility in the old game, this was a couple years ago, people would go on Google, they would go on Bing. There's 10 plus options, there's endless scrolling, and there's comparison mode. People were going and they were scrolling through and they were getting a lot of different links. They were able to search those links. They were able to make that decision based off looking through and doing their own research. Now, back then, you did not want to be listed on page 3. Anything past page 2 was basically a death sentence. But page one, you wanted to be, at least be in the top 10. You did not want to be past at least page one. You want to be on there. That was kind of where that goal is. Now things are completely different. Now that's completely irrelevant. Visibility was important then, it's not now. Now is selection. This is the new reality. And the new reality is AI shows not just these 10 options, 1 to 3 options. It also forms instant trust for the consumer, and it causes immediate action. So this is completely different than how it was done before. Before it was research, people were making those decisions. Now they're relying on AI to make that decision for them. And when I'm talking about this, this is not a long-term process. This happens in under 3 seconds. That is our window that we have in order to help these consumers be able to choose our business outside of our competitors. So they're not browsing, the buyers aren't. Now they're solving a problem and they want access to that information and they want it right now. So the buyer journey has now changed. And I'm going to tell you about that. So the first piece of it on what they're doing in order to choose a business is they're scanning. So they're scanning for the top results. More than likely, it's only the top 3. After that, they're checking reviews. They're looking for ratings and recent feedback. So not reviews that you had 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They want to see the reviews that you have had over the last month or so. They want recent reviews. And they're also looking for signals. So it's not just about being able to see your reviews. They want to see that you have photos, that your services, that you are a legitimate company. So these are the trust signals that they are looking for. And they also want the option of acting fast. They want the ability to call, click, or visit immediately. They don't want to have to call and go and wait for you to call them back. They don't want to have to fill out a form. They want to be able to reach you right now at that moment of when they're interested. And if not, they are going to go to the next company that's down the line, and that company is going to get your business. Now, how important is this? The numbers don't lie. 70% of mobile searches call directly from search results. 70%. And 76% of people who search locally visit or call a business within 24 hours. That is how quickly they can go from looking you up to actually your business making a sale. And 28% of these local searches are resulting in an actual purchase from your company. So again, if you're not within those 3 seconds, it goes to your competitor. Buyers now are not reading. They are not processing information. They're filtering. So in seconds, buyers are going to run through 3 subconscious layers, and you're going to pass them all, or they're going to lose the click. They're going to go to their competitor. So the first thing that they're going to be looking at for your business, again, are you legit? Are you real? Is your information consistent? Do you have a professional presence? Do you have clear business details? Is your phone number accurate? Is your phone number right over on this business listing site? What about on this one? Is your address correct over here as well as over here? And for businesses that have accurate, consistent listings, they get 73% more engagement from having them. The next thing is they're going to be thinking is, can I trust them? What are other people saying about this business? So they're relying on reviews, again, the recency and the reputation to make sure that they feel confident. They're relying on this so much that 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from their friends. And the final filter they're going to be thinking about is, can they help me? Does this company help me solve my problem? So they're looking for clear services, they're looking for relevant messaging and proof of expertise. There is a 200% higher conversion for businesses with strong recent reviews and being able to make sure that they can clearly solve someone's problem at the moment that they're looking for it. And all of this happens in under 3 seconds. And if you don't pass all these filters, they're going to move on to your competitor. Now, this is how it's different. And I really think it's important that we look at both of these because it took me a while to figure out exactly how things have changed. The difference is Google, back then, it showed options. It gives a list of options to explore. AI now, it gives them the decision faster. They feel confident in that decision. Now they're able to make those decisions very quickly. So AI is compressing the journey from search to decisions, and the business that are showing up in AI are the ones that are getting the business, not the ones that are invisible. So AI doesn't show everything. It doesn't need to. It recommends what deserves to be seen, and that is based on the criteria of the reviews, them being able to trust, and the information being accurate. So 44% of consumers are now using AI tools to research products, services, and local businesses. And it is growing every single day. Millions and millions of people are adopting AI in order to use it every single day. So think about that. 44% of consumers are using it, and it's only going to go up from there. There's almost a 5 times higher conversion rate from AI-driven recommendations compared to traditional search of where people are just searching over on Google and Bing. And 70% of users trust AI-generated recommendations when making decisions. They just trust it. That's just what it is. So going here, we've had to really look at why are businesses losing the click? What is going on? Because we know what influences it and these purchase behavior, but we don't really understand, we didn't understand why most businesses were losing it. Why was it going to the competitors? And it's not always about their service, it's how they show up in that moment that the customer is looking to make a decision. Buyers make judgments in seconds, and what we're finding is most businesses aren't passing the test. And the reason why is the first one, they look incomplete. So they're missing information, they don't have photos, they're missing key details that's going to create instant hesitation. And so on these details and what they're looking for is they're looking at review sites, different types of listing sites. So there's over 67 listing sites that a company can be on. They're looking for accurate information across all of these sites. And there are new ones that are being added to every day. And it's not just Yelp, it's not just Trustpilot, it's not just Facebook. There is, again, 67 of these sites that your information needs to be on. 75% of users judge a business's credibility based on how complete their profiles are on these sites. And it's not just about being on them, they can't be outdated. So old photos, stale posts, say on your social media accounts, maybe you've let one die off because you just decided not to use it or not manage it anymore. AI doesn't care. It finds it and it pulls it in there. So if you've got those stale posts, or if you've got old reviews that are a couple years old, this signals to AI that your company is not active. And if you're not active, then it looks outdated. And 74% of consumers lose trust in businesses with outdated information. So it's important that you go and you make sure that it's all updated and it stays consistent. The next thing they're looking at is, are things inconsistent? So conflicting information across platforms make buyers question what's actually true. So let's say you have a different phone number. Let's say you have a phone number you used a marketing company, and that marketing company gave you a specific 800 number to use, so that way you can track the campaigns. Well, if that number is still floating out there and you're not with that vendor anymore, then if somebody calls that company or that phone number, they're not going to be able to find you. So, or did you move? And so some of your old address is on some of these sites and it hasn't been updated. Or even down to if your address has the word boulevard in it and it is abbreviated in some listings and in other ones it isn't. So it has to be consistent across all of these different sites in order for not only the customers to go and they feel confident in you, but also for AI to feel comfortable recommending you. 68% of consumers say inconsistencies across listings cause them to lose trust. It is vital that you make sure that all of your information is consistent and accurate across these sites. And then the final thing is these companies look generic. So there's no clear messaging or unique strengths. That means that you're blending in with everyone else. 59% of consumers choose a business because it communicated a unique value. So for example, if you are an HVAC company and you do AC repair, your services are going to be similar. So what that means is you're either going to have to compete on price or you're going to have to compete on reviews. We don't want to do that. So every single company, even if you offer similar services, you still want to have a little bit of personality. You still want to have a little bit of things that make you unique. That's going to make you stand out. And you want to make sure that that's reflected all over the internet so AI can pull it. Buyers are not looking for perfection. Even though it seems like they may be, they are not. They're not looking for perfection, but they are looking for the obvious choice because, again, 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from their friends. And there's a 2.7 times higher conversion for businesses with recent relevant reviews. It's important that you have them and not just on one. So you don't want to have it just on Google, have them on Facebook. Have reviews on all of the different sites that you can, because in case one goes down, you don't want to lose all those reviews. You want to make sure that you have reviews across multiple platforms, so that way AI can feel very comfortable recommending you. A lot of companies will almost kind of bribe for reviews, say a free topping for your ice cream, or here's a free B12 shot if you write a review. AI knows. And it's going to see consistently that that's happening. And with doing that, that's actually going to push your trust down and the consumer's trust down. And to keep in mind, 53% of users will leave if a business profile is incomplete, unclear, or difficult to understand. So what that means is, again, is if your service offerings are not accurate, if your phone number is not there, if your address is wrong, 53% are going to leave. Now, here's the shift that's going to win that decision. Winning today is not about getting more attention. This is not it anymore. This is not the goal. It's about being one of the few options that buyers trust and choose. So again, you want to make sure that you are seen, that you have built trust. You want to make sure that you are considered. You need to make sure it's easy to evaluate your business and for them to say yes, because 70% of buyers shortlist 2 to 3 businesses before making a decision. You want to make sure that your company is chosen. You want to make sure it stands out with clarity, with proof, with confidence. And then that way, you're going to make sure that they feel confident in buying from you. There is a 4.4 times higher conversion rate for businesses that optimize trust signals. And you want to make sure this drives growth. Turn trust into action, and it's going to turn into predictable results. 53% of users choose the business they trust most, regardless of price. And this is extremely important because you never want to compete on price, because that means that your next competitor that comes in, they drop it down $1 more. And with that, there is no customer loyalty. You never, ever, ever want to compete on price if you don't have to. The goal isn't more traffic anymore. The goal is more people saying yes. When you shift from visibility and focusing on visibility and shift your mindset to getting selected, you're going to stop competing. You're never going to compete on price, and your company is going to start winning. Now, if you think it's not impacting you, you're wrong. It has been impacting you for a while now. You just don't necessarily know. There is a significant cost of not being chosen. Every day you're not visible, credible, or top of mind, your competitors are getting the business that you could have had. Now, I've got a couple of stats that are very staggering. As we have done our product development and we have been researching over time, these numbers have really, really gotten our attention. 63% of buyers choose a competitor because they're easier to find and evaluate. So that means that even if you have all of this great press, it doesn't really matter anymore if they cannot go and it's not easy to find you, if it's not easy to call you, if it's not easy to show up to your store, if your hours are not easy to find, if it's not easy, 63% of buyers are going to choose your competitor over you. Now, 74% of buyers go with the first vendor to build credibility and trust. And 50% of B2B deals go to a vendor that wasn't even the first choice but was the most visible. So all of you that are in the B2B space, that metric is very important for you to know. And how this impacts you and what this means for you is that if buyers can't find you, you don't exist. If they don't trust you quickly, they're going to keep looking. And if a competitor feels like the obvious choice, you are going to lose the deal. Visibility, credibility, and top of mind presence, that's how you're going to win before the conversation starts. And I want you to understand your competitors are not outworking you. They're just but they are getting chosen. And the reason why is because they have visibility and trust, and it's not a nice to have anymore. Now it's the reason why buyers are choosing someone else. So the reality that we found with both our clients and also for, our business as well, is that buyers have more choices than ever, and they're extremely impatient now. And if you don't stand out quickly and clearly, you get skipped. And the problem is most businesses blend in. Again, they all look the same. They say the same things. They don't give buyers a clear reason to choose them outside of positive reviews. You don't want to just have to rely on positive reviews for the reason why people are going to go to your business. You want to make sure that they can see your value outside of just comparing your competitor to you. And the opportunity here is that when you show up with clarity, when you show up with consistency, when you show up with credibility, you are going to become the obvious choice and you're not going to be competing anymore. Winning is not about being louder, it's about being very clear. The businesses that grow are not always the best, but they are the ones that buyers trust, remember, and they feel confident in choosing. So I want you to see, because I've told you about all the ways in order how you're maybe not showing up, but I want you to show up on what happens when you show up at the right moment. So we were contacted by a local AC repair, and they were a new company. They started last quarter. They were basically invisible to the internet. They had been running ads, different Google ads. They had been running postcard mailers. They even had radio ads. But when it came down to the internet, they were invisible. So that meant nobody called them. So as soon as they turned off those ads, nobody knew they existed. So what we did is we actually went and we changed that. So we focused on all of the things that I've been talking about today, and we had actually some really great results. And with that, we were able to move them from page 32 on Google all the way up to number 2. And why that's important is because that is called the money zone. Those top 3 positions capture 60 to 75% of all clicks. And particularly in HVAC, any of those keywords, if you're running an ad, can run anywhere between $30 to $80 per click. And that can get really expensive. And so why this is super important is, again, now they have the chance to get 60 to 75% of those clicks without running ads. So that means anytime they turn off those ads, they're still going to be called. And they're going to be called by high intent searches. These are people that want them right now. There was a significant increase in calls and engagement, and now they're dominating local visibility in key service areas. And we were able to do this in less than 30 days. Now the question is, how is this possible in 30 days? And we had to look at it. And the reason why we had to look is we needed to make sure that how we were able to do this was actually, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just a coincidence. We wanted to make sure that this was something that was repeatable, that we could do again. And so, especially because it happened so fast, we needed to look at why did this happen so fast compared to what we did? So how we had been doing it traditionally was a lot slower. It was very manual. It was very slow. It was very disconnected. And that's why it can take a lot of agencies months. It used to take us months. It's usually between 3 to 6 months in order to even move the needle at all. And the reason why is because it's manual work. It's across multiple platforms. So you have your Google Business profile over here. You're responding to those reviews. And then you have your Facebook reviews, and then you're managing, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Then you're over here going and filling out these business listing sites that I was talking about. That takes 300 hours, by the way, just to get on the sites. That's not even going and updating them and making it consistent. So not only is it manual and time consuming, all the systems were disconnected. So that means that you're logging into this system, this system, this system. It takes forever. And when you're doing that, you're busy running your company, or you have employees that are busy doing other things. It gets pushed off to the wayside, and then it impacts how you're not being seen on AI. So that was a problem. And that was a massive problem. Sometimes it even took up to 12 months to move the needle, because some of these sites, it just takes a long time. It's not instantly updated. So what we did was we went to our product development team and said, hey, we are really running into a problem. This is not working for us. It's not working for our clients, and it's not working for us. So what they did is they started researching. They started working with different software vendors. They started partnering with these companies, or they started creating our own platforms and our own software. And with doing that, we were able to do it within 30 days. And how they did that was they did it with, they called kind of our visibility toolkit. This is what our team started using. We started using it all the time for all of our clients. And we had in there AI powered code. So what this does is it helps search engines understand the business correctly, or I'm sorry, understand the business instantly. And what that means is a lot of websites are actually built for humans to read, and it's graphics and it's really pretty, but it is not meant for AI to read. AI likes words, it likes structure, it likes very technical code. And the websites, how they were built previously in the past few years, they're not readable by AI. So what we were able to do is, if some clients were not ready to invest in a new website, instead we found a way. We were able to take a piece of code and translate exactly what that business does into this code to where AI could read it. Then we had the listings and the consistency managed. So those 67 sites, the one that takes 3 hours to do, we were able to not only get them on those sites and on them very quickly, but then also make sure they're consistent. We were able to update them in real time. So if there was any phone number that was wrong, if there was any address that was wrong, we were able to fix it with a click of a button. We were able to sync it. Those reviews, when it comes to those reviews, algorithms change all the time. So now they are requesting that you have so many new reviews a month, and then that they're actually responded to within a certain amount of time. And of course, we can't be glued to the computer at all times. Business owners cannot be glued to their computers at all time and just waiting for a review to pop in. It's just not practical. So we were able to merge those two as well. So now it can all be done in real time for our team. And we utilize some different AI software in order to make that easier on our team. And then what we did is everything was disjointed. So we created a centralized system. So everything works together with one login, where we can see all of our reporting, we can see our dashboards, we can see all of the different pieces of our toolkit. All of these tools that we were doing for one client, we were able to see it in one spot instead of having to log into all of these different platforms in order to do our job. And then we were able to do continuous updates, not one-time fixes. So we were able to adapt as the algorithms change. We were not having to wait 60 days, 90 days to find out that the algorithm changed, and then all the work that we did. We were able to find out in real time and make those changes in real time. So just like you, we had to do everything manually. And a lot of people are doing it manually now. And so that's why we created the AI Visibility Toolkit. I am not here today to sell you our AI Visibility Toolkit. That is not my goal here today. Some businesses do want a team to handle it. Some let us do it for them. Some prefer to do it themselves. So we do have this toolkit. Toolkit is actually the same things that we use is available to the public. It can now be in your hands if you would like it. Again, you do not have to. It makes our life easier. Some companies have us manage everything for them. We have a lot of clients that we do that, but we needed something to where not everybody's ready for that. So we have it, we use our toolkit ourselves, but now it is also available to the public, but Also, again, you can still do these things manually, but it's important to know what is out there and what is available to you. And if you're on this call, more than likely you already have our toolkit. And so the purpose of today is for you to really understand exactly what that toolkit does. Especially if you're part of the chamber. The chamber has, every member has access to this toolkit. So again, this is what the toolkit is and this is what it's for. But again, you can still do these things manually if you do not want to utilize that toolkit. Now in it, it's the same thing that we have. So it has the all-in-one dashboard where you can manage the listings and the reviews, the content and insights all in one place. The automated consistency with making sure that phone numbers and addresses and hours are all updated in real time. And it also has AI insights, so you can see exactly what AI sees. You can track your visibility and know exactly what needs to be improved and improved right now, and not improved in 6-12 months from now. Because if you don't act on it now, you're going to be losing customers to your competitors. So again, these are the same tools our team uses. It's just now accessible to everyone, especially if you're a chamber member. Now, what we did is we did not just go off the HVAC case study alone. We really, really took the time to make sure that this was not a one-time fluke. We wanted to make sure that this continued to provide really good results. If we were going to migrate all of our operations to using a toolkit in order to make sure that customers are seen by AI, then we needed strong proof that it worked. So outside of the HVAC case study, we also have our AI code impact. So remember that snippet of code that I told you that we inject? So the reason it happened is AI didn't fully understand one of our client services and often gave incomplete and incorrect answers. And again, that's because it had all of the graphics so humans could read it well, but AI could not read it. So what we did is we injected that code onto their site, and we did it using the toolkit. And what we were able to do is we were able to tell AI exactly what to know about these businesses. So AI didn't have to guess. AI did not have to look at all sorts of other sites, because sometimes it will pull from other companies that have similar names. I know that's happened to us. There's a lot of shark companies that are out there, so some of those things are not related to us. It's a problem because other people see it, but they don't take the time to go research it. So if there's a company that has bad reviews and you have a similar name, I know one of our clients, JCT Drywall, recently had that happen. They had these great information that was showing online, but the reviews were bad, and it was feeding in there saying that they were not necessarily really good at what they were doing. Customer service was not great, and then come to find out it was actually from a company in Georgia, but it was AI was pulling that information. So by putting in that snippet of code, it is able to make sure that AI has the best chance of providing the actual information about your company. And when we did that with our different companies, the result was AI changed the way that it was reading about companies in less than 7 days. AI was able to understand clearly, accurately, and provide detailed results about our clients. And then the other case study that we had, there's a social tool and a social impact that comes with that is in our toolkit. That's a really big deal, because as soon as we did some specific posts using our social posting tool that's in our toolkit, AI had results in less than 24 hours. And the reason why is previously the client had inconsistent posting. It gets really hard. Sometimes, we forget to make posts, we forget to plan ahead, then we're jumping and trying to figure out how we can hurry up and post something. It needs to be consistent. So this particular client had inconsistent posting. It also had unclear messaging, and that sent weak signals to AI. So what we did is we used the toolkit to control the message. And we put very specific posts in there that was very specific, that tied with that snippet of AI code. And what it did was it improved the content quality, started posting with purpose, and we told AI what to know about them and what to say about them, as opposed to letting AI control that messaging. And we were able to do that and impact AI in less than 24 hours. So it worked, which is very good. So needless to say, our team uses these tools. And it has really impacted our business, again, not just for our clients, but also for us individually as, as a marketing company. It has really, really impacted our business very positively. So again, how do we put this into action? How are other businesses doing this? Because not everybody has our toolkit, right? And not everybody will have our toolkit. So how is it that if you are here today and you're watching this workshop, how can you take this information today and how can you apply it to your business? And you have options. And it just really, those options depend on how much time you have, the resources that you have, and how fast that you want results. So your option are you can do it yourself. A lot of companies do this. That is absolutely okay. And all you're going to do is if you do that, you're going to follow the system that we just walked through. So it just, keep in mind, it's just going to take some time. It's going to take some consistency, but you can absolutely do it on your own. And what you're going to do is you're going to manage those listings. You're going to go on those 67 sites. You are going to create accounts on there, and you are going to update and align your business information across these platforms. Next, you're going to build and respond to reviews. So you're going to consistently earn new reviews. That means you're going to have to request them. That's okay. And you're going to need to respond in a timely and helpful way. So we have a lot of these workshops that are happening. One of these workshops is going to be how AI wants you to respond to these reviews. There's a very specific way. It is no longer thank you or thank you for your review. It wants very specific ways that you're going to respond to these reviews. So look out for that workshop. If you don't know, you can always ask ChatGPT. You can always ask, anywhere on the internet, AI. Ask AI how it wants you to respond to reviews now. But that is what you need to do for this. Next, create clear content. Keep your website and your key pages clear, accurate, and AI friendly. And that also is on social media. Make sure you have very clear content on there. Don't just post pictures. Don't just post videos. Post captions that are relevant so AI can actually read those captions. Don't make vague posts. You want to make sure that they're very specific to the services that you have, because again, you are telling AI what you want it to tell customers. If you do not tell AI what you want it to say, it will come up with its own. And AI does like to hallucinate and come up with really interesting and weird things about people and companies. So again, tell it what you want it to say. And you have to stay consistent. You want to keep everything aligned. You want to monitor those changes and you want to adjust as needed. Again, it's going to work. It might take some time, a little bit of focus and ongoing effort, but it is absolutely doable. The other option is that you can use the tools that we have. You can use the toolkit. It's the same system that our team uses. If you are a current member of the chamber, you have direct access to our AI visibility toolkit. Okay, so there is no reason why you should be doing this on your own. So you have access to this. Now, if there happens to be any business that is watching this and you are outside the chamber, that is okay. This is still something you can implement, again, manually, or you can still have access to our tools. Our team can make sure that you have access to it. The difference is that when you use it, it's going to happen faster and it's going to be a lot easier, and it's a very effective way to stay visible. Everything's going to be in one place. It has built-in consistency for you, so you can keep that information accurate and aligned across all over the internet. You're not going to have to pick up that phone call and call 67 sites and keep up with 67 different logins. You're going to be able to update those hours in real time. If, let's say, you're closed for a holiday, you're going to be able to save time and get results faster. So you're going to be able to automate the tedious work and focus on the things that move the needle. And you're also going to be able to see what AI sees. And that's probably the most important piece that you're going to need in order to make sure that you are chosen when a customer is ready to purchase. You need to know what AI is seeing. You cannot look at what you think a customer thinks about your business. You cannot guess anymore. You have to make sure that you are seeing the same thing that a customer sees. So take out everything that you know about your business, take that out of your head, and you need to really look at what is a customer seeing. What is someone who knows nothing about your company? What are they seeing right now? And so that is what our toolkit does, is that helps our team make decisions. helps our clients make decisions, helps us make decisions on behalf of our clients. But again, that is not something that you have to have today. That is just something that we have available to you. You can always do this yourself. There is no reason why you cannot. I don't want you to go in there, and I don't want you guessing, okay? Because it's a lot, and it's a lot to guess. So you don't have to do that. I want you to be able to see how your business shows up, and I want you to be able to see how it shows up immediately. That way you can make the decisions and you can make the changes that are actually going to move the needle to where that way you were chosen within those 3 seconds, right? I want you to find out what customers and AI are actually seeing when they search for your services. So there's a QR code. I want you to take out your phone and I want you to scan this QR code. This will take you to a page where you can order a visibility snapshot. It does not cost you anything. It is free. Okay, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. It's not a bait and switch. It is a QR code that is going to, again, take you to the snapshot. You're going to fill it out. It takes 48 hours for us to get it back to you, sometimes even sooner. And what it's going to do is it's going to show where you appear and where you don't. You're going to see where you show up and where you're missing. It's also going to compare your business, how your business compares to its competitors. You're going to see who's outranking you and why, and you're going to be able to see, is somebody going to be able, sorry, I was reading your comments over here. Is your competitor showing up, or is it you? Under those 3 seconds, who is going to be chosen at that time? And that's where this visibility report helps in understanding that. And you're also going to help understand what's impacting whether you get chosen. So understand the trust signals and what's driving those decisions. And remember, if you're not showing up at the moment of intent, you're not part of the decision. And this is really going to impact your business, and it's impacting it now. As it goes for the workshops, we have a whole series of these, and each of them do deep dives, not just on AI, but then also real life things that you can implement now to make sure that your business is showing up and it's visible, and that also that it's chosen. Okay, all of these are actual things that our product development team and we have learned over the past few years, as well as what we're learning recently and what we're seeing on the front lines. And we're taking this information and passing it off to you. These workshops are at no cost to you. This is actually part of our partnership with the Chamber, because we want to make sure that businesses in the Tampa Bay area are able to be seen and that they're successful. And there are right now in Wesley Chapel alone, I like to pick on Wesley Chapel because that's where I live, there are almost 5,000 businesses that are completely invisible to AI, completely invisible. That means out of all the people that are going and they're using AI, which as we saw is basically everyone, 40-something%, I believe, and growing, chances are your business is not involved in it. And if it's not, then you need to know about it and you need to fix it. So we have our workshops. You can find them on our Facebook page at Shark Branding Solutions. We have our new AI-friendly website that is coming out hopefully today, if not tomorrow. With that, all of our workshops will be on there. Also, any recordings and on-demand workshops are going to be there too. So I hope that you decide to join us. If there is anything, any questions or any follow-up information that you would like, you are more than welcome to contact me at michelle@sharkbrandingsolutions.com. We are happy to answer any of your questions and hop on a call. But most importantly, make sure that you get your visibility snapshot, because that is going to tell you exactly where you need to start, and it's going to help our team give you the best information possible. So again, I want to thank you so much for today. Please let me know if there's anything that we can do. I hope you have a great rest of your day.